Thanks to Events DC, we're able to take you behind the scenes on food, culture, and community right here in DC. They're helping make this podcast possible and helping shape the future of our city at the same time. Check out eventsdc.com to see what they're cooking up.
Order up. Another episode of In the Weeds podcast with Chef Spike Mendelsohn.
Right on. Today's guest knows how to build something from the ground up with fire, instinct, and a whole lot of heart. She has taken her Sicilian Lebanese roots and turned them into a global food story told through some of DC's most talked about restaurants: Compass Rose, Maydān, and Kirby Club. She's a Michelin-starred restaurateur, cookbook author, and a professional wanderer who has built a brand that is equal parts smoke, spice, and soul. Please welcome Rose Previte.
There you go.
Yeah,
We're
all
just leaning into the Italian. I like it.
Leaning into the Italian. Rose, it's amazing to have you on. Welcome to In the Weeds.
Thank you for having me.
Although you're in the weeds all the time.
I kind of live in the weeds, yeah.
So perfect for you.
This is the perfect name. Congratulations on a magnificent name to your podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have to say, I'm excited today because, there's only a very few number of restaurants in the world, I'll tell you, that are my common recommendations. And your restaurant, Maydān, is one of them, right? And there's one in Montreal, there's a couple in France. But what I love, your restaurant is so special to me because I just love the experience. I love who you are. I love what you do. And it's the restaurant that when anybody asks me where they should go eat in DC, you're the first one that comes up. And so I'm personally excited because, I was at your restaurant, I think, 10 days ago?
Very recently, yes.
Yeah.
I hope everything was okay because I wasn't there, which I always worry about.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I think, we ate so well. We brought some friends that had never been there before. And yeah, we had a good time. Listen, I love your steak. I love you do the spice on the steak there. That is...
that's what I should have brought you.
What is it, fenugreek? What is this?
Georgian blue fenugreek. And I am like the sole ambassador in America for it. But it's a very cool spice. You can't use the fenugreek that's like in the store.
Yeah.
That one is more common in Indian food. But no, this one you can only currently buy on Amazon in little packs.
Okay.
Or you go to Brooklyn to the blue fenugreek dealer that I deal with.
You got a dealer?
And he's in a warehouse in
dealer?
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And he's Georgian, very Georgian. And I feel like I'm doing like an arms deal instead of like a spice deal when I go. But we have a deal. And I get my blue fenugreek in large bags from him. But otherwise, when you cook out of my cookbook or something, unfortunately, you still have to get it from Amazon.
I love that. I love that the fact is that, like, especially ingredients, like when you're trying to source them, they do feel like an arms deal.
Oh, yeah.
You're
they're from a former Soviet country, definitely.
Yeah. I used to get spices from, you might know this guy, the Saffron King in New York City.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly.
You know who he's talking about?
Yeah, I've never worked with him, but
no, and like it was always like, meet me in the back of the alley, Chinatown, off of this thing, Mulberry Street. He's like, I got your spices.
And you got your spices. That's exactly what happened when I was trying to, we couldn't communicate on the phone. I'm like, I'll just come to Brooklyn. I'll just come to the warehouse.
Yeah.
And of course it's in like, there's rats running around. I'm like, where am I? Like, do I really want to do this? And it wasn't the prettiest place in the world, but we made the deal. I got the blue fenugreek. And then actually from day one, when I opened Compass Rose in like 2014, I wanted to make hachapuri, the Georgian cheese bread.
Yeah.
And in Georgia, there's only one cheese that goes into it. It's called salguni. And so it's not sold here. So my husband was like, look, Rose, you're American. You're going to be doing some Georgian stuff. Why don't you go to the embassy and like talk to the ambassador? I'm like, you know what? Why don't I do that? And I live in DC.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what I did. I went to meet the ambassador at the time to say like, hey, how do I get your cool cheese into America? Like I figured it had to be like Jose when he got the Iberico ham into the US.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like ready. I'm ready to like, go to Congress and lobby for my cheese to get into America. But I truly do not believe that ambassador thought I was there to talk about cheese. I think he really did think it was some like undercover weird thing because he smoked a cigar through the entire meeting. He had a 3-piece suit on and a pocket watch, and he leaned back in his chair and just smoked the cigar in my face. And I was like, I'm not a spy, I swear to God. Like I really just want to know about the cheese. And he's like, we have problem. I'll never forget. He's like, we have a problem. We have problem. And he's like, it's never going to work. You're never going to get it. So anyway, I ended up using 3 cheeses mixed to mimic the taste of it.
Well, what's the issue? Why can't you get it?
It's like another one of those things not pasteurized long enough. I've had some dairy farmers tell me, the dairy the breeding of the cows is not up to our standards, Because I've tried to get farmers to make it for me. This woman in
What's
Hagerstown.
special about it? Tell me,
it's like a salty sour.
Okay.
And it's a little farmy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And so basically what the farmers here tell me is that farmy is coming from like these cows eat whatever they want. And in America, we're not gonna let those we're not going to let you eat that.
Yeah, no,
That's
we
the explanation.
jail our cows in America.
Well, we have to shoot up our cows. We have to give them drugs
Yes.
and then do all these crazy things, and then it's safe.
Yeah, our cows are like on steroids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're just angry
but
cows.
those free range cows over in Georgia, we don't want any of that.
We don't want that beautiful grazing cow milk over here.
So I've improvised.
Isn't that the crazy irony about
so
the States?
I know.
That's the one issue with the sourcing in the United States is that those flavors of the farm in your cheese, like you can't get some of that authentic, super amazing flavors that you can get in your.
No, they take the farminess away.
They take all the farminess and fun away out of it.
I've eaten a lot of Georgian cheese in a lot of very small towns, and I'm still here to tell the tale. So so that one was hard. I mean, again, the positive was that we figured out a mix of 3 cheeses that kind of mimic the taste. But that meeting to this day.
What is the dish again, though? Tell me.
Hajapuri.
Hajapuri.
National dish of the Republic of Georgia. How did you not know that?
Is it? Oh my God! And I'm like an embassy chef judge. I should have known this.
It's weird. Oh, they have a chef. That's weird. You've never, because there's actually like 40 different kinds of it. There's one kind that's like lasagna. There's one kind that comes out like a stromboli. Like you can make it a bunch of different ways, but it's a regional dish.
Okay.
So if you're in Tbilisi, in the capital, you can't really find very often the one that I make, because the one that I make is called Ajaruli Hajapuri, and it comes from the Ajara region of western Georgia on the Black Sea coast in a town called Batumi. Did you not know we're going to have a geography lesson
Oh
today?
my
I'm so
gosh!
sorry.
Yeah.
So we do this particular style. So it comes out of the oven, hot cheese on a boat of bread. You put a raw egg and you put a pat of butter. I put za'atar because I am Lebanese. And now the Georgians, when they come in from the embassy, take off the za'atar. They're like, no
They're
za'atar.
like, no za'atar.
But I put it on just to give a little Lebanese shout out. Then you stir it together table side. The egg ends up still cooking in the hot cheese, so you let it sit for a minute and then you slice it. It's like
So it's like a tableside preparation kind of a dish?
it's like a pizza, but you stir it.
Sure. It's like Caesar's tableside Caesar, but
A little bit.
not.
Yeah, maybe like Caesar meets like, I don't know, a bread boat. It's interesting,
I love me a tableside Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I almost wanted to open a restaurant all based around tableside Caesar and have like this guy dressed up in like Caesar roll out the cart.
Oh,
Wouldn't it
like
be cool?
Caesar.
Like Caesar.
Oh, that's a good twist.
And then,
Okay.
just all the time.
I hadn't thought about that. Because don't they say it was originated? There's a place in Tijuana that says they originated the Caesar salad. So
Yes, it's true.
I don't
Caesar
know.
salad is Mexican, everybody.
that's what they tell me.
That's
I've been to
what
that
they
restaurant.
say.
And it was
You were that?
They're very clear on we were the first. It was very good. I mean,
And you had the Caesar there?
Of course.
Was it tableside?
Of course, yeah. It was all very
Was the
good.
guy dressed up like Caesar?
He was not dressed
Okay,
up. That's
so
where
I
it stops.
there's still a chance.
You still have something
Okay,
there that has not been done. So.
So tell me, I mean, you are, I mean, you have so much of, you've done so much, and you're bi-coastal, which is absolutely crazy as a restaurateur. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy enough to get into the business, and then it's double whammy as crazy to do it bi-coastal.
Yeah.
But here you are, successfully doing it. Great.
More or less.
More or less.
More or less. Doesn't feel like success most days, but thank you.
But tell me, like, so how are you from DC originally? Like, where were you? Where were you
No,
born?
I grew up in the Midwest.
The Midwest, okay.
I am Lebanese by way of Detroit. So I grew up in like the Toledo, Detroit area. But I moved here right after college.
Okay. And what were you? And so, but in Detroit, were you like, was food a major part of your family? Like, where did you get this curiosity about food and cooking? And
Well, my mom's Lebanese
Okay.
American. My dad's Sicilian American, as you said. So you can't have those
And
two
there you
cultures.
go. There you go.
The quick answer is there was not a moment without a full table at my house, right?
Okay.
And both of my parents, I think one of their biggest things they had in common was a love of food. They met in Detroit, but then the catch is that my dad moved my mom 2 hours south in Ohio, and that's where I grew up. And a really small college town that was very much a cornfield, like not a suburb of a city, like really a tiny town of 3,000 people. So the reason I got into food is because there was no Lebanese food there, and my mom was like, no, we have to change this, and we are going to be the ones that change it. And so she started a Lebanese catering company out of our kitchen.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, at the beginning it was not cool for me. It got better as things went on, but
what was the not cool part about it?
like, it was Ohio in the 90s. Like, everyone's having pizza and Mountain Dew for their birthday party. And Rose is having baked lamb and, lemonade with orange blossom water in it. Like nobody wants that when they're 12. Nobody. But by
did
high
they not
school,
want it, or were they actually interested? And
they were interested. I lucked out. Like for being where
but
I'm
you
from.
had like a little thing about it. You were
of course, you're self-conscious. You're 12. You're a girl. I have curly hair and a unibrow.
All these spices. You're like, what's going on? I got a unibrow.
No, I was like a super like back then, I looked different. It was very clear. And so you didn't want anything else to make you stand out. And my mom's like, no, we don't subscribe to that. We actually stand out on purpose, and we're going to teach everybody about ourselves, but we're going to do it by food because that's our way in, right? So very early on, she wasn't even trying to make a big statement. She was just trying to explain, like, we're not going to let them make fun of you. And I didn't get bullied, nothing. By the time I was in high school, everybody was begging to eat at our house, so it was cool by then. But at the beginning, it was a little bit rough. I had to go to a new school for the 6th grade. And but we were always cooking.
Just
my
all
dad,
because of that za'atar spice.
Why is za'atar on everything on my face sometimes? That also wasn't cool. But my dad is a lawyer who taught at the university level, but had a Italian sausage street fair hobby. So I had all this Lebanese stuff, but my dad loves cooking too. And so we would go to fairs and festivals all the weekends of my childhood and cook these Italian sausage sandwiches, like typical East Coast street
Totally.
fair food, but back in Ohio back then, no one had it.
Yeah.
So we would make like 300 pounds of sausage in our house, from like butchering to cleaning the casings to like doing everything in our house, and then would like sell it.
Was it like did you have like a production kitchen
we
in the
had
basement?
a basement. We had a basement with a production kitchen.
You did?
I mean, of course, the health department would not have approved, but it was good enough.
Back then
it was
we
good
didn't need
enough.
health departments back then. Like,
we're just using cows from other countries. We're using weird cheese and making sausage in our basement. So both sides were just like very much a way my parents used to preserve culture, because they knew they had grown up in big quote unquote ethnic communities, right? My dad's in an Italian neighborhood in New Jersey. My mom's Lebanese lady from Detroit. Then they raised us in this farm town. They're like, okay, we're not going to let them lose who they are, but how are we going to do this? We don't speak the language. So what can we do? And it was cooking, right? So food is sort of our language. I don't speak Arabic. I don't speak Italian. I mean, I try, but it's shitty, but we cook for people.
We cook and feed people and make delicious stuff.
Yeah, and they overcompensated, I think, for sure.
And so did you ever have was it mostly Lebanese food on the table at home, or was it also Italian? Or
it was 50-50, just 50-50. Like me, 50-50. It was like a competition with, it depended on the night. A lot of the Italian was a lot easier to whip up. The Lebanese sometimes can be more time consuming. It was more of a weekend thing. My grandfather lived with us, my Italian grandfather, for a few years, and he really preferred Italian. So my mom leaned heavily Italian. But that's how I learned to make Sunday sauce. He was a butcher by trade before he retired. So he brought the whole pig in, right? We were doing brajol, like we were like rolling pig skin. He taught me about bone marrow before it was cool, and we're throwing all this stuff in the Sunday sauce. So I got like strong
Tell
culinary.
people what Sunday sauce is.
Oh, it's I don't know. Does not everybody know the Sunday sauce?
I don't know if everyone knows what Sunday sauce, but isn't Sunday sauce unique to each family?
Probably everybody also has their own version.
Okay, what's yours?
But so the essence of it, though, was bringing the family together on Sunday to eat. And of course, we ate as a family every night because my mother honestly made a homemade meal every night. And to this day, I look at her, I'm like, how did you have 4 children? Do all this, worked, catered, and then you still made this food for us? It's insane. Now as an adult, I can say that.
I agree with you on that one, by the way, because
the moms, you have an amazing mother.
Exactly. I mean, I grew up in the same fashion with fresh food, homemade meals on the table. Never realized the importance of it until I got older.
Yeah.
And the difficulty of
so
producing it. My mother still to this day has dinner for my father on the table. 100%. And it's not like, hey, you're the woman and you stay at home. Like, no, she's a full-blown restaurateur.
Your mom's a badass.
Yeah, she works like every single day.
I need one of her in my company.
And
by the way,
she
give you a loan her to me.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's just, I was like, Harvey, he's one lucky guy.
So is Pete. Let me tell you. As much as my dad cooked, he wasn't doing it on the weeknights. She was. So it was. But then it was the night you had additional family members, right? So Sunday was you made this massive batch of sauce that had to cook all day. You can also hear the Italian, like the New York accent say Sunday gravy is also gravy.
Is it sauce? Is it gravy?
I said sauce, but I did have New Jersey family members that called it gravy. My grandfather called it gravy. Yeah. But in Ohio, gravy is a very different thing. It's brown. And then you put it on turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
So we never said gravy because of where I grew up, but my dad's family did. And so Sunday was you start early in the morning and it cooks down all day to this like beautiful.
Is it a mirepoix? It's like you start with like onions, carrots, and celery kind of thing, or no?
No carrots. My dad would throw carrots in, and my grandfather didn't. So it was more of just like garlic. We'd use the Italian sausage. So there's
so you take it out of the casings.
Yeah, we'd brown it.
Brown it.
That's how I started. And then you start with the whole tomato, San Marzanos, like before San
Totally.
Marzanos were cool. But we would also use jarred tomatoes. If it was a good year and we'd done our big tomato harvest and we canned everything,
Yeah.
then that was sauce. In the New Jersey family, you never use canned tomatoes. When my grandfather was with us, we also jarred our own tomatoes and
Yeah.
stuff. And then the homemade olive oil, like the whole bit, right? And then by the end of the day, you've got sausage, you've got meatballs, you've got essentially bolognese, but
Yeah.
it's mainly meat by this point, and all this beautiful sauce. And we would use like big old rigatoni, and people from the neighborhood would come over. So to us, that was Sunday sauce. But yeah, every family has their own.
I'm getting hungry. I need some Sunday sauce.
I know.
We need to jar
If I knew we were talking about
Sunday
this.
sauce.
Oh, well, a lot of people have thought of that. If you go to the grocery store, it's brilliant. But yeah.
Do you see Sunday sauce on in the stores?
Oh, no. Well, like Carbone is, I'm thinking of like the big
Carbone
sauces.
is killing it with their
but
sauces.
The way some of them have advertised or branded is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're brilliant. And also, who did I talk to? Oh, Chris Bianco recently, who has all his tomatoes in grocery stores. He said it's really going well.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about, so you were in Ohio, you were doing your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, wealth of food and family. What an amazing thing to grow up in. You don't realize it till later
Right,
on,
of
right?
course.
And I love how everyone was coming to your families to eat.
Yeah.
Right. That's like that
Everybody.
role reversal. Like all of a sudden, like everyone wants to be
Yeah.
at your house for dinner. But and so where did you go from that? So you ended up in DC going to school for what?
Well, I came for an internship.
Yeah.
When I was 22, so I was still in college. I had not officially graduated. I was doing the internship at Human Rights Watch, where you work for free back then.
Yes.
You could do it if you wanted to do good for the world. You had to work for free first. And I was here to abolish the death penalty by myself at 22. That was my plan.
Yeah.
And I was waiting tables at a bar in Capitol Hill, which I will very much age myself. But if you know this one, oh yeah, you opened a place next to it. Remember Politiki?
Oh, yeah, of
And it
course.
turned into the poorhouse.
Yeah, of course.
That was where I started.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
In the year of our Lord 2002, and met this. I would work Sundays, because back then you needed extra servers on Sunday because it was football and it was a sports bar. And my husband turns out to be a rabid Steelers fan, and this was a Steelers bar on Sunday.
It was a Steelers bar.
And so
annoying.
met this boy named David Green. I was his waitress at that bar on Sundays, and so I met a boy. And I was like, damn it, that was not the plan.
Not the plan to meet the boy.
I finished my internship and I ended up going back to Ohio to graduate, and I came back to DC, not for the boy, I told myself. I said, I am coming back because I have friends now. I like this guy, but if it doesn't work out, I got other stuff going on. I'll eventually go to law school. I ended up going to policy school. So I have my master's in public policy from George Mason.
Okay.
But the boy stuck around.
So
and it's been a
why
while.
master's in public policy? And why were you trying to the death penalty thing?
Oh, I was just trying to change the world.
Change the world.
Yeah, of course.
How far did you go with the
you
death
think
penalty thing?
well, look at the state of the world. I'm doing great, if you can't tell. I decided to change course and just try to get people to forget about what's going on by just eating and drinking merrily for a few hours. Maybe they can forget about the world. But no, I just always had a strong sense of social justice. And you're in DC for a couple of years. I decided against law school. I still wanted to do something good for the world. So policy appealed to me. A lot of people were with government jobs have it.
Yeah.
I always bartended and served the whole time.
You were always in the industry
Always,
in
yeah.
what form? So like you went from helping catering your mom's Lebanese food, and then you were doing the fairs also.
Fairs and festivals.
Was that like fair? Was that only Ohio, or were you traveling all over the place?
No, fortunately, we stayed in Ohio.
Ohio.
Thank God he
Okay,
didn't
I was
leave
about
the
to
state.
say, like,
no,
was
we
he
did
trying
not
to
cross
go-
state lines. I'm sure he thought about it, but no, we stayed in Ohio.
But I love that. Like I love that he had a hobby and was wanting to do that. That's so much fun.
He made it his children's hobby against their will, but sure. Did he walk into Compass Rose the first time and he's like, oh, you serve street food?
Yeah.
He's like, are you still mad at me? And it's like,
Totally. It's like,
it was his full circle moment.
This
of
is
like,
because of me.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
Everything. You Greek, there's not like they're taking credit for
You
your children.
know. All right. So stayed in the business, and then at what point were you like, hey man, this public sector of trying to help and change the world is just not not that it's
didn't
not
give
for
up.
you.
I didn't give
That
up.
it's not for you, but
Yeah.
it's funny how we'll fast forward a little bit, but how this industry can open up so many opportunities to change the world.
It can,
in
through
different
food.
through food
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah, we know that now.
And it could even cross borders to outside of food
Yeah.
at times, right? But so what was the moment where you were like, okay, like I'm going full blown restaurateur? Like how did you open your first restaurant? Who invested in it, and like who are your partners?
Thank you for asking. It is there is a brief move, and this will get to the answer, to New York from DC. where I worked for the New York City Council because I thought, like, I love city government. And I thought, why not work for the biggest city in the country? And so I worked in New York for a year until my husband, that regular at my bar, who turned into my husband a few years later, is a journalist. And so he was working for NPR at the time and had a dream of being a foreign correspondent. And then NPR needed a Moscow bureau chief in the year 2008, 2009. It was right after the election, 2009. And
Right when I got here to DC.
Is that really?
2008.
Oh, okay,
Right
perfect.
after-
It was a very pivotal
3
year.
weeks before the election.
And the world's like in recession. It was like a crazy time,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, so you love study abroad in Spain. Don't you want to like come move to Russia? And I'm like, of all the places I've never wanted to live, Russia's high on the list.
High on the list.
But I love an adventure, and I did think it would be sort of like study abroad. So I agreed. And then I'm living in Moscow for 3 years.
3 years in
3
Moscow.
years, not working. I really thought I could cook or I could bartend or something, but I couldn't get a visa to work, and I couldn't speak Russian, so that was out. So
don't
I was
speak
a
Russian?
Ni Pavruski. I see. I'm really rusty in saying in Russian that I don't speak Russian. That was my greatest accomplishment. Ni Chut Pavruski. That's all I got. David learned a little bit more than I did. It was an amazing adventure. I will never do it again. I do not regret that I did it, but I
Yeah.
will never do it again. And I would never tell you to live there. I would tell you eventually one day to visit again, but not right now. But during those years,
Wait, we can't go to Russia right now?
No, please don't go to Russia right now. It was rough when I was there, and it was not nearly as bad as it is now.
What was
but-
going on there? Was it rough because of political?
Well, just
thing?
being married to a journalist.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
like all journalists.
Oh, true. Didn't even
All
think of that.
journalism was dangerous.
Yeah.
I would say at the time they hadn't really, like now they brazenly imprison foreign journalists. At the time they weren't doing that, but they were very cruel to Russian journalists. And so there's some terrifying stories about Russian journalists.
Was your family kind of like, what are you doing? Find an
My parents
boy-
were terrified. Like they were
Terrified,
like, we're really proud of you for supporting this dream of your husband's, but like we are absolutely terrified. Like,
were you married at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're 2 years in.
Oh, you were 2 years in. But so wait, you went to New York, and he was still in DC.
Well, he was covering the election because
Okay.
he was a White House correspondent.
Okay.
And that was the Obama year.
Yes.
And when, I don't know, I know this is a very DC story, so the people from
This
DC will
is
understand this.
DC-based podcast.
You will understand that sometimes in election years, if you are partnered with someone who is a White House correspondent, they will disappear for weeks at a time to go
Yes.
cover an election. David, I had already been through one election cycle, so this was not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
And he was not home. I'd finished a fellowship in Arlington County. I did a year working for the Arlington County government, and I wanted to try something different. I wanted to work in New York. So my brother helped me pack up a U-Haul, and I drove myself to New York, and I got an apartment, and I called David, and I said, I'm not leaving you per se, but I am leaving Washington, and I have your things. Your new address is. And if you choose to come back, this is where
Fantastic.
I am. Can I say it was the brightest point in our relationship? No, but we got through it. I lived in a building with my cousins. He did come home after the election, and then covered the recession in New York for a year because that was the place to cover at the time
course.
because the stock market was a disaster. So then came Russia, where he was like, okay, after I left you for a year, now we're going to be together all the time, but we're going to do it in Russia. And it's true, we were together all the time, including a 3-week trip on the Trans-Siberian Railroad. So we covered all of the country from Moscow to Vladivostok on a train while he did a series of stories for NPR. And on that train, after being a housewife for 2.5 years, which by the way, I'm not good at, you
Yeah.
should just know. I rocked it at dinner parties, but outside of that, I was like, what the hell am I doing? They told me, oh, go to the American Women's Organization. I was like, what is this? They meet at the Hard Rock Cafe. Okay.
Yeah.
So I show up, and it was not for me. There's like a knitting class, a scrapbooking
Oh my
class. I'm
gosh.
like, I am not here. I am 30 years old. Like, this is insane. So I traveled a bunch, and we went to like 30 countries in 3 years, which was like super cool. And then we're taking this epic journey across the country. But this is the last big trip before we moved back to the US. And we were moving back to DC because David now had taken the Morning Edition hosting job for NPR, which was based here and in LA. And I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? I haven't worked for 3 years. Who's going to want me? What am I going to do? So on the train, I had a lot of time to think because Siberia in December, let me tell you, there's
Yes.
not a whole lot to do.
Not a lot to- yeah.
There wasn't a lot of Wi-Fi out there in Siberia. So I am just thinking about my life. And it was my little like eat, pray, love moment. I'm not going to lie, where I was like, I really love bringing people together. I love food. My parents were freaking right, which is pissing me off because I
Yeah.
don't want them to be right about
100%.
anything. But what if I could just bring people together all the time in a space? And like I told you, like you were talking about the house where everybody ate. How do I recreate that in a city where we all have these, we have rules now. We don't come over to someone's house unannounced. We don't do it. How can I create that space or that feeling of home? And so I said, I will open a restaurant when I get back to DC. And that was 2012. We got back.
2012.
And then I spent the next year and a half, figuring out how to open a restaurant. So to answer your question, I went back to the guy that owned the Poorhouse back then, who was my boss and now my friend.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, hey, Mike, can you teach me how to do this? Because since then he had opened a couple other places. And he was just going to teach me. And then I swindled him into partnering with me. And he kind of did the money side.
And it's probably the best thing he ever did.
We'll see, I don't know. You have to get him on the podcast to get his answer. But he did the money side. I did the creative side. And we created Compass Rose based on my travels.
Yeah.
So the first menu was like 22 countries represented. I was trying to do an item for every kind of like country I went to. Everything on the first menu represented a recipe I had collected somewhere in the world or a place we had gone and had like a cool food memory. So it was really meaningful. And DC being DC, a city of expats and travelers and wanderers, I think really embraced it as like, oh, I get this, right? Like this is me too. And so it was a good concept for DC.
And so when you were opening up Compass Rose, are you the chef? Like, do you consider? I would consider yourself a chef. In my eyes,
thanks,
you're a
Mike,
chef.
that's an honor.
You often reference yourself as a restaurateur, which nowadays you could blur the lines, obviously. But did you hire somebody to help execute the menu that you worked with?
Yeah.
And
I
so
hired someone for help.
And so these were all your flavors and your experiences and the things you cooked, but you hired like an executive chef. Basically.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Because especially like the hajapuri.
Yeah.
That was on my brain. I actually was going to do all Georgian at the beginning. Not being Georgian, I was like, I looked for Georgian chefs for a while for help. Very hard to find a Georgian chef, by the way. So that didn't work. Found an Italian guy.
When you can't find a Georgian chef,
you find an Italian guy.
There's an Italian guy around the corner that's willing to help out. Okay.
But he really helped me out and saw my vision for this thing. Because he was like, of these 40 kinds of hajapuri, I wanted to do one of the ones that was more like a stromboli.
Tell people what hajapuri is again.
The Georgian cheese bread.
Cheese bread.
Cheese bread.
But there's a bunch of versions, like you said, right?
40 different types. But he and I, after collaborating, he's like, look, people love a show. Americans are going to love a show. Let's do the one with the tableside service. And there was only one with that. And he was right. But it wasn't street food, technically. That's why I was hesitant. Because the other ones you literally eat while you're walking down the street because they look like pizza or something.
Totally.
But this one, you have to really sit and eat it. But he was right. And I think in the first year at Compass Rose, we sold over 10,000, which at the time was like an epic number for a restaurant that wasn't even 2,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
The Post had written about it like 4 different times. It was just a crazy time. Everyone was excited about it, but no one knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I needed help to create it, but then once we did, it was like hotcakes.
Yeah.
But no, at the time, by the way, when I got back from Russia, I went to New York to try to find hajapuri in like a Georgian restaurant. At the time, you couldn't find anything. I went way out to Brighton Beach and finally found a Georgian place that was like owned by Russians, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And then this fly really loves us.
It's like we're in the kitchen or something.
Like there's a kitchen right there or something. But it was really hard to find. Now New York, now everybody's like tuned into Georgian food. But at the time, it was really, really hard to find. And so we kind of did start it. But I'm happy to say tons of people are doing it now, which is great.
Yeah. And so what was the experience kind of opening that restaurant? Like, was it like your first restaurant?
Hardest thing I've ever done.
Was it? Like, what was the hardest part of it?
I think for a first timer, and especially I contribute a lot of this to being a woman. Like, capital raise was the hardest, right? And
I was just about to ask you that.
No, the capital raise was the hardest.
As a woman.
And I say as a woman because I feel like we have a propensity, and not all of us, but I did at that time, to just not want to ask for anything or ask for help.
You guys do that really for
we're
some reason.
Raised
That's a
to do this, and it was actually one of the biggest growth things that came out of owning my own business was overcoming this. Because after hemming and hawing for a few months, I'm like, well, the whole deal is I have to bring the money in this partnership. So how am I going to do that? And I quickly realized that if I didn't believe in myself, who else was going to believe in me? And plus, it wasn't a donation; it was an opportunity, right? I was like, I'm not asking you to donate to a nonprofit. You're never going to see it again.
Yeah.
Or like, no, you're going to get your money back and then some, right? And so once I sort of shifted and reframed it, I was able to ask people to invest in me. And very honestly, Compass, compared to now, was not that much to build out. And so a few friends and family loaned me the money and we were able to build it in about a year and a half. But again, I bring up the female piece because I also felt like coming into the neighborhood, was right as 14th Street was like developing. And there were some neighbors that did not want any more businesses.
Right.
But out of all the businesses, they chose to attack me. And I think I just looked the most vulnerable. Female, young, never owned a restaurant. So there was a couple guys, and they were all older men, by the way, who just came after me to keep me from getting my liquor license. And I had to fight one of the biggest battles that I did channel all of my public policy background,
Yes.
all of my Sicilian attitude, like everything I could muster to kind of fight these people. And I did eventually win, but it cost me so much money, which I didn't
Was
budget
it part
for.
of that historical?
No.
Like, no.
It was just some angry ass neighbors.
Angry-ass
and
neighbors.
they just wanted to fight me. And I was, no, because the house it's zone commercial residential.
Yeah.
I wanted it, like I was telling you, to be a house. I wanted it to feel like home.
Yeah.
And so it was the perfect place for me. It was mixed use and I wasn't doing anything illegal, and they treated me like I was doing something illegal. So I really had to fight for it,
Yeah.
which of course made it all the more special, but it shouldn't have been that hard, basically.
Yeah. No, I like that you bring up the thing about being a female in this industry, because it does come with a certain set of challenges, and we've had a ton of female guests on this podcast, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a reoccurring theme that one, investments in women restaurateurs or chef is astronomically lower than it is for males, right? But then on top of it, I also I forget who it was, but one of the guests said women compared to men will fake it till they make
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
I like how you laughed. Yeah, we will overbelieve in ourselves for some reason, and like we will fake it till we make it. And it seems like sometimes women in the industry don't have that thing. They're like, no, we have to have everything. I want everything to be ready and perfect before we go do this, which is just unrealistic at times, right? So getting over the hump of like, hey, those guys are faking and making it. Like I should just be able to jump in too and make some mistakes along the way and figure it out. I think that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of you have to fight perfectionism quite a bit, among other things. But it is really hard, yes, to see men of equal caliber or not even as qualified as you seem to like money just rolls in for them, and we have to ask like triple the amount of people. And there's just something about even I don't want to jump ahead, but I opened my LA restaurant last week, and it's been a while since.
You're a week off a restaurant opening right now?
I am 7 days. That's why I hope you see the bags under my eyes. It has been a very intense opening, but it was beautiful. And I've worked on this project for years, but it's been a while because in DC, I've known a lot of people for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
And in LA, I'm new. So a lot of people don't recognize me. And like, I can't explain to you how the shock when they see that I'm the owner. It's still not my beverage director, who's just a tall white guy who's like 5 years younger than me, and I'm standing right next to him, and they walked right up to him. Are you the owner? To him, not me.
Yeah.
It's just the natural. It's like we're all
thing.
the implicit bias and like the way we are programmed is insane.
Yeah.
And anytime anybody walked up to me, whether he was there or not, it was like, "Are you the manager?" It just never occurs to anyone that you're the owner. But if you see a man, you will say, "Oh, like a man that looks like they're working but they're in charge."
Oh, you must be the owner.
You must be the owner. It's just natural. But you see a woman doing it, it never crosses your mind. And last week reminded me of that, and I hadn't felt that in a long time. I was like, "Oh, we're still here. Okay."
Yeah. I'm guilty of it. I mean, I'll tell everybody, I am guilty of it.
I mean, women are too. We're programmed too to think
Yeah.
the man is the owner sometimes. We have to all work out of it.
Yeah. But that's why I love your story, and that's why I keep sending people there, because I'm
Thank
like,
you.
you guys don't understand. Like, this is you're a rock star restaurateur, but you also have the degree of knowledge of food, which is interesting to me, right? Because I look at your restaurants and I'd say, yes, they're driven by a passion and a knowledge of cuisine and food, but they're not necessarily reliant on a chef per se. Is that a right like a chef of notoriety, I guess, per se? Is that true, or am I?
Well, here's what I'm gonna counter you.
Because I associate Maydān with you.
No,
Right?
Thank you.
I don't associate it, and I know you've been through 2 to 3, maybe even 4 chefs at any given time at that restaurant. But no matter what, the consistency of the food is always there, and the deliciousness of the food is always there. So, it's kind of like that restaurateur chef thing. Sometimes that's talked about in the industry. What's more important, or And
let me tell you what I've actually been working on since you brought it up, and that is I'm trying to take back the word chef, and I know I'm talking to one that's more traditional than I am, but I didn't go to culinary school. I learned from women, right? In Arabic, it's sitti is how you say grandmother and aunties, and I have decided in the last few years, actually since the Maydān trip, we devised the first menu for Maydān. I took 2 chefs traveling with me, and we went to 5 countries, but we only cooked with women in their homes. homes. We don't stage in restaurants. And to make Middle Eastern food, the secrets are with the women. They're not with the men, right? But they don't get to work in restaurants. So we go to the homes. And our hashtag for the trip back in 2017 was even cooking with grandmas. So I'm very proud to say that like we have some very traditional grandma style food, but presented on this beautiful fire and this beautiful space, giving it, I think, the stage it always deserved. But in the process, I think you have to also honor the women that made it by calling them chefs too. I don't think it takes culinary school. I don't think it takes tattoos. I think Maydān came up in that period of like now celebrity chefs and stuff, but like I don't know why we don't call these women that spent, like my mother who's spent their entire lives cooking, why don't we call them chefs, right?
100%.
So I am taking that title. I've decided I'm going to do it my own way. And it is not in the kitchen. You know, I also sometimes think because I was in the kitchen so much as a kid, I sort of like don't have the romance about it. You know, there was no part of me that's like, let me go to culinary school and cook more.
Yeah.
It was like, I have this massive understanding of it, but I also am a front of house person, right? I bartended and I served and I love the hospitality. And I also love the art and the design. So yes, restaurateur fits as well because I love putting all the pieces together and making it an experience. So instead of saying we're chef driven, even though I own the word, I like to say we're experience driven. Like when you come to Maydān, you get dinner and a show, right? You don't
100%.
Just get dinner.
Yeah, you get fires, you get heat, you get laughter, you get beauty, you get vibes.
And my restaurant group is called No White Plates because I'm actually an early chef I worked with, Sam Malavi. He knows I tell the story. He's here in DC, he's still chefing away. He was the second guy that helped me at Compass Rose. And I hadn't had a restaurant for very long. I didn't understand a commercial kitchen completely. And so I appreciate the chefs that did teach me, but Sam was like looking around for plates. He's like, Rose, where are the white plates? I'm like, Sam, we don't have any white plates. He said, why don't you have white plates? He's like, the food is so beautiful. It's art. We need the plate. And I'm like, no. You're missing. That's not what I'm here for. And that was my dividing line when I'm like, I am not a chefy chef, right? Because to me, the whole experience was in these like ceramic plates made by women, thousands of miles away. Or in this case now, I source from two women here, Kuza. They're amazing. And they make all the plateware for Maydān here in DC, Iranian female-owned company. So to me, that's what I'm looking for in a plate, not whiteness to show off my food.
Yeah.
And so I guess in all of this, you're getting sort of my mission and philosophy.
No, I mean,
but,
this is what the podcast is about.
Yeah. So there's different ways. And I think like, since 2017, I used to put the chefs in this place of, the face of the business, but I kind of, I think reclaiming my own worth.
100%.
And I also decided to put my face on it and be like, this is my family here. This is these women that were kind enough to teach us their family recipes, and it's my family recipes. And I'll never leave. They'll leave me. Yeah. I'm never going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. There's the revolving door of
and
chefs in and out.
Well, that's the conflict too. I think traditionally, right, especially in the old French style, the chef was the owner.
Yeah.
But it's not the case all the time. I mean, in your case it is, but there's a lot of people that don't have that paradigm anymore. So.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I love what you said about when you went abroad that you weren't going to restaurants or culinary schools to train. You were going to homes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've continued to do some policy work, and I want to hear all about the organizations that you're working with. I think it's Fire and Hearth, right? Is that you? The philosophy. I'm sorry. There's like a wine. Aren't you starting a women's group with wine or something like that?
I have a wine company.
A wine company, okay.
Yeah.
But when I went abroad, when I was doing work with CARE, which is a national organization that handles food aid, but especially they empower women in these third world countries, and so often the thing that you're doing is we go down there and we work with women, and they're head of the household. They're the women cooking and the men are foraging, and there's this huge divide between the men and women. Like the men will hang out in one area and the women will be in this area. And it was mind-boggling to me when I was visiting, because we were there to chat with the women, but you could tell the men were so irritated with it, right? And for us, we were trying to teach, well, you guys are the head of the household, so you should be able to make choices. You should be able to make more decisions in your community, and because you're the one nurturing everybody. And so I love that you went into homes where the women were to learn their dishes and like make those come back to life. I mean, I think that is...
and all over the Middle East, which is, I also think, Maydān is meant to be kind of educational, to show people different sides of countries that they only see negative things about. I say the region that we represent, even though I'm Lebanese and my mother wishes it was all Lebanese food, I actually represent the region from, I like to say Tangier to Tehran, and from Batumi to Beirut. And then recently, we went to Oman, so really the Arabian Peninsula is in there too, but it's kind of the whole region, and it's a very misunderstood region, right? So the more people can see the food and the women who make the food with us, who let us into their houses, I hope that they see hospitality before they see guns, So that's also part of the mission of the restaurant, and in its expansion with the cookbook in LA, really at the heart of it is just that obligation that I feel to educate about places I've been fortunate, like privileged, very, very privileged enough to go to, and share what I've learned. And a lot of that is that hospitality that my mother, of course, taught me. But I mean, these are people that brought us into their homes, not knowing us at all, trusting us. And like you said, there were a few homes we went into, especially in Oman, which is very conservative. And I did have a male chef with me, my investor at the time, my husband, and I had all these men. And these homes still let us in after we had, I lined up a lot of these things, by the way, via expat friends, nonprofit friends in DC. And then Oman was actually through the only English language Omani cookbook at the time was written by an American woman. And I reached out to her and she helped set up a culinary trip for us. It was amazing. But conservative country, I'm with all men, one girl. We walk into a Bedouin home, right? And the men are on the perimeter watching, but the women are cooking. And I could see down the hall, there was like definitely some people that were not allowed out.
Yeah,
they're in a room, but they're really curious and they're sticking their heads out. And I've seen a few young boys around, but clearly there's a bigger family I'm not seeing. And so the whole night goes on. These women make this amazing food. Then we all eat it. They share their recipes. And at the end of the meal, the woman that cooked with us says, like, do you mind coming with me? And I was like, no, I'll go do whatever you say. Like, I really appreciate this. And I got let into the inner sanctum, which was all women. And it was like I had walked into Narnia. It was like the coolest thing. It was like in completely different space. They had so many questions. And their first one was, which one is your husband? And I was like, oh, I see why this is confusing. Yeah. And so it is like but I've had such special, really, really special experiences in homes of people that were kind enough to serve us. And so I hope we bring a little bit of that back with us.
As you should.
Yeah.
I remember my trip too. I was the only guy. It was Kat Core and Carla Hall went on this trip with me. And I remember getting this feeling like the men were looking at me. They're like, what are you doing in the kitchen? It was like an opposite feeling a little bit. They're like, what are you doing like in that area? There's usually no men in there. But let's get to Maydān. And can we pronounce, so is it Maydān or Maydān?
You can't say it wrong.
You can't
That's
say
the beauty of the word.
I love you that you say that because you know what? Scott Druno always gives me shit about how I pronounce Chico, whatever.
No.
Yeah. You can't say it wrong.
I'm probably saying theirs wrong too.
Probably,
but no,
yeah.
Maydān is intentional. It is an Arabic word to me, but it's actually used in Farsi and in Hindi and in Eastern Europe. And it always means the same thing, a square or a gathering place. I learned it in Kiev, Ukraine, so completely not an Arabic-speaking country. But I loved what it meant. And I also love that it's pronounced differently in every language.
And that's what you learned is that where you got inspired for the name? Like from that?
From Kiev, learning? Yeah, the main square in Ukraine, in Kiev.
Oh, nice. And so tell us about, you went from Compass Rose, which felt like almost like a restaurant based off your passport and your travels. Yep. Looking for your next big event, concert, or culinary adventure? Check out eventsdc.com to see what they're cooking up. Is Compass still open?
I just closed it in June, but I didn't close it. She moved to LA.
Oh, she moved to LA.
Yeah,
okay.
LA. We just
like you.
8 days ago. Compass is actually personification of me. It's actually insane. That business is so meaningful to me that I had to take her with me.
Will you reopen Compass Rose or Maydān?
Both.
Next door to each other as one?
Under one roof. I have a market.
So
there's a lot going on.
All right,
in
let's
LA.
not get ahead of ourselves.
No.
All right. DC Maydān opened up what year?
2017.
2017. And so you just hadn't had enough of the restaurant industry. You just wanted more. You wanted to double down.
I wanted fire.
You wanted fire. So tell me about fire and where the inspiration for fire. And I almost feel that was there many restaurants in DC doing fire at that point?
No, I think the Dabney was already open.
The Dabney only, but different type of fire there.
Well, yeah, a little. I mean, different.
Different.
A little smaller, but
a little smaller.
But it
just like a little small
but
station.
It's beautiful.
Fire.
I think. Yeah. I think they were open. I can't remember off the top of my head if there was anybody else, but I had wanted it for Compass Rose.
Yeah.
Because I wanted street food, so I wanted an outdoor kitchen, and the health department
Yeah.
was like, no.
So did the idea for Maydān come first, or did the location of Maydān come first, and then the idea?
No, I had the idea.
The idea.
And the developer, the owner, Douglas Development is my landlord there. They came to me and asked me to look at it. I was not looking actively. I knew that the next concept would have fire because I wasn't allowed to have it at Compass Rose. Also, like, that's how naive I was. Who was going to let me have fire in a row house on T Street? I mean,
Totally.
I can't actually blame them. But I really had this desire to still cook on fire because it's authentic. And it's just the way that a lot of the food in the Middle East, we're still cooking on fire. Like, not everybody has a big old stove, range, and all these fancy appliances. So a lot of people are cooking on fire. So I had the idea when they showed me the building, for whatever reason, those steel beams that are in there, they were there, and I truly believed that the fire was supposed to go between the beams, and miraculously all the hood equipment fit in that crazy copper, like if you go up to the top where it's like rusted out, that was there, and all the equipment went straight to the roof.
It's like the coolest. So tell me about the structural part of the building, because that to me is there like a pipe stack going right through the building?
It was already there.
And what was it was an old factory, or what was it?
It was a commercial laundry. That's why it's Manhattan
commercial.
Laundry is the name of the complex.
Yeah.
And it was a commercial laundry. And there had been briefly a charter school before we got it. Because sometimes an Uber driver will tell me, oh, I went to school there. And I'm like, wow. So bizarre. But it is like 150 years old. And even before it was a commercial laundry, it was a service center for streetcars. Florida Avenue had a streetcar that ran down it.
Yeah.
And so if they broke or whatever, they'd take them off and put them in this building. So that's why the ceilings are so high. They're like, 26 feet or something?
Huge.
And that is because they used to have train cars. If you go into Franklin Hall, the bar next door, it actually looks more long and skinny, and you can be like, oh, you would put a train in here. Yeah. So I love historic buildings. I love reusing old stuff instead of, it's like my sustainability thing, like if I don't have to throw it out, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because there was already a shaft, essentially like a steam shaft of sorts, we were able just to repurpose it for the fire.
Which is the most amazing thing, because you built
perfect size too.
I mean, for those who haven't been there, first of all, if you come to DC, you have to go there to eat. It's absolutely amazing. It's an experience. But my favorite part about this restaurant, it's just you walk in and you're in the kitchen.
You are in the kitchen.
You're literally in the kitchen, and you're on the fire, and then like the garde manger station basically is like a sandwich unit in the middle on the floor, just hanging out. And like when I went there my first time, I was like, this fucking genius, Rose. I was just
that's very sweet.
No, I was, because you know what? We chefs, and I'm getting better at this, we over-design our restaurants a little bit, right? And we over-design our kitchens specifically. And we want all the bells and whistles, and we want this, and we want that to be perfect. And I walked in, I was just kind of laughing at myself. I was like, open fire, sandwich prep unit, there, and there you go.
This is my superpowers, right? Because I didn't go to culinary school. I don't know the rules. So I just made it up.
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? Do you know the guys that do unconventional foods in New York?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I met them at an event in LA, and I can't remember which guy from the team. I can't think of his name right now. But he came up to me, and he knew Maydān. He's like, oh, you're Maydān. I was like, yeah. And he, after a little bit, was like, you didn't go to culinary school, did you? And I was like, nope. And he's like, I know you did it, because a chef never would have designed that kitchen. And so this is where, again, I'm embracing the word chef, but I'm doing it my own way, right?
Yeah.
I totally get that, like, it doesn't play by the rules. We have no appliances. So there's no like saute station in the back. Like you said, it is a sandwich unit cold station.
It's it.
And then we have the fire. There are nights I look at it, I'm like, this is insane. Who the hell thought of this? But yeah.
But it's like the most beautiful thing I've seen.
Thank you. And I had help from chefs. I had a lot of help. It was not just me, but the vision for it, yes. I had it in my head for a long time, and it just fit in that space.
It just fits in that space so uniquely, so effortlessly. It's just such a, you go in there and I feel like you're already like taken back, like, and you're already on a journey, on a story, and it doesn't feel like you're in DC. And then you have like you have the non is it naan bread? No, it's not. Well, not naan. It's not naan. But it feels like a naan oven.
It's a flatbread. No, it's a tandoori oven.
Oh, it's a tandoori oven.
It is a tandoori oven. We call it tone because
that's what I was at.
We researched the flatbread baking in Georgia.
Yeah.
And they call it tone. But the whole region has a tandoori oven.
Yeah, and basically you just stick the dough on the side panel.
On the clay. It's clay.
The person there has no hair on their arms if it's a male. it's a female, still no hair on your arms, hopefully, but
they have gloves. They have gloves. I promise.
But and so how many stations are there? Explain to people like what the cook station looks like. You have fuel. You have
It's all white oak.
It's all white oak.
All white oak.
Okay.
That's the only one we use. That's the only wood we use.
Why is that?
No flavor.
No flavor.
Yeah,
doesn't impart flavor. Okay.
Right. We
Smart.
actually want to bring out the flavor of the ingredients, right? So you put the heat on it, but no, we're not looking. It's not like a lot of people think barbecue. You think of like all these flavored woods. No.
Yeah.
We prefer not to have it. So we have a neutral wood. And then everything is fueled by it. So that's the thing with, you'll see tandooris in other restaurants, but they're almost always gas run. It is live fire. So it does make the bread.
Oh, your tandoori is also live
the
fire.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So like it does make the bread, like I think when Tom did our first review, it was very kind. The only thing he didn't like was he's like, well, the bread is inconsistent. I'm like, oh, the bread's going to be inconsistent because every piece is kind of cooked at a different temperature, right?
Yeah.
Like it's never going to be holding exactly at the same one.
Come on, Tom.
But wait, no,
you
it's
should
okay.
know this, Tom.
It's okay. He was nice to us, so it's fine.
I'm going to shit on Tom. You don't have to.
He's retiring.
He's retiring. I just read. I think he was just wrote a really good article the other day about the scene. So he's great.
He's great. He's been kind to us
critic.
over the years, and because I do stuff different, you always worry people aren't going to understand it, right? It's like I understand this is out of normalcy, and
we should have him on the podcast, don't you think?
It's time.
We need a critic on this podcast.
He'll do it now.
Yeah, he probably will, right?
Yeah. I mean, why
now
not?
that he's a known
He's
face.
free.
Yeah, he's free.
So yeah, I just you basically have a hearth that is made truly from like clay and rocks.
Yeah.
Like one of our opening chefs had his uncle or cousin come from Southern Virginia with literally a truck full of rocks, and they built it in like 2 or 3 days. There are some still, frame in there. It's all fire brick on top of it.
Yeah.
And then right now Grillworks, Ben from Grillworks has done all of our grill pieces. So we've got a mix of grills, a firebox. We have a hanging rack. So
Yes.
like the lamb shoulders,
The
the
lamb
cauliflower.
shoulder.
We hang over the fire.
I just had one of those lamb shoulders.
Thank you.
They're so good.
It's good. We've downsized a little. We used to only do 60 ounces. But during COVID, we started to make them smaller because not everybody can have 60 ounces in a meal. We understand that. So we'll do smaller ones now. But we hang them over the fire to finish them. We have sweet potatoes up there, all kinds of stuff.
Sweet potatoes, fire too. What's the most difficult part of running a restaurant that is fueled by fire?
So many things.
Yes.
So many things.
Tell us for the people that are thinking about getting into this.
Well, live fire, if you do it, I do recommend having a very concrete emergency plan if the hood malfunctions. Because I will tell you the first time it malfunctioned, which we all should have thought about, but we didn't, the entire restaurant fills with smoke. That does not happen if you have a regular kitchen.
Yeah.
So you need a plan for that. It's happened a couple times, pretty traumatic every time it's happened. So yeah, live fire, I mean, for the most part though, supply is not a problem. And we always find people that love fire. Like that's the cool thing. Like cooks, there's always cooks that want to cook on the fire. That's never been a problem.
Totally.
I will say it is labor intensive. It's not for everyone. I'm very proud to say we've had a good amount of women on the fire over the years, but unfortunately not as many because it's physically very intense. The fire's hot. But we always find fire freaks that are like, give it to me. I want this. Yeah. So no, I think normal restaurant stuff otherwise, but just like, of course, a special, you get your hood, it's more expensive. We clean it more often, We've had a couple neighbors sometimes complain they don't like the smell. Most people really like the smell because it just smells like a wood fire, like it's cozy. But occasionally neighbors will get mad, so things like that.
What are your most popular dishes there, and do you play with seasonality? I would assume maybe, or do you try to keep a pretty concrete base menu?
It's pretty base.
Yeah,
right
it's a pretty
now.
base menu,
Yeah,
right?
because those center plates, which like we have this tawla style, right? Tawla means table in Arabic, and I always wanted large group dining so that you could do the 60-ounce shoulder and it not be overwhelming. So for group dining, and now Two Tops can do it if they want to, we do the preset menu where we just fill the table. You don't have to think about it. The vegetables change, of course. I mean, any vegetable tastes better on fire. Like the oyster mushrooms are like
100%.
insane, right? Like they taste
Those
like
oyster mushrooms
steak.
were one of the stars.
They are one of my favorites.
Oh my
too,
gosh.
Yeah. So whatever vegetable we have, obviously we can get those year round. But we will try to do local stuff when we have it. But we also sometimes we skimp because we want more vegetables because that is the one thing, like trying to be sensitive to vegetarians.
Yes.
If we don't have enough vegetables, so sometimes, is asparagus in there out of season? Yes, it is. But we're really trying to be accommodating. So we have a lot of that. We do less grains because of the fire, because we don't have we hold
There's
couscous
no sautés.
now.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
So like a lot of when we first opened, a lot of Iranians would come in because they're like, where's the rice? I tell everybody, the Iranian grandmas yelled at me, where's the rice? I'm like, it's a fire. We can't cook the rice. Like there's nowhere to put the rice and like hold it without burning. Of course, you could do tadik, which is the crispy rice, which we have done a couple of times. But I feel like the big signature dishes are the lamb shoulder, never goes out of style. Just the dips change a lot too. That is one, we have the hummus, but we also just added havush, which is a carrot toom, carrot garlic dip. You did have it?
It is so good.
Yeah, it's like
you need to bottle that
garlicky
thing.
carrots.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
It's amazing.
So that's like a newer one. So we try to mix it.
My wife's like, can you make this at home for me?
You can. I can. It's very simple.
I'm like, I can, but let's go to Maydān.
Yeah, no, I actually prefer that. One day maybe we'll put it in the grocery store.
The garlic whip sauce.
Yeah, the only thing
that thing.
And I'll tell you the secret to that. When you're making it at home, it's really all about how the steps of how you make it, because a lot of people mess it up. But the thing I do in the restaurant, I did not do growing up. My family does not put egg white in it. But I cooked with some Syrian home chefs in Turkey, and they taught us about egg white to make it fluffy. So we have a very fluffy toom.
So you whip the egg whites first and then fold it in?
No, you add it. It's all blended.
It's all blended
Vitamix.
at the same time.
We're big on our Vitamixes and our
Vitamix, yeah.
We are Vitamix Central, because all those dips, just like that's how we. That's like I said, no appliances other than a couple.
Yeah.
Things like that. So so those things change, but it is really hard to change the center plates. At first we couldn't manage a whole fish. Now we do a bronzino, so it's hard to take them off, because anytime we change something, when people get mad at us,
Yeah.
So the center plates stay pretty the same, but I'd say the dips change and the vegetables change.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the accolades for Maydān.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going there.
Okay.
We're going there because I've dreamed of having Michelin stars in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I was
You're
just
gonna
like,
get one.
never.
I'll
Never.
call them.
I'm never going to get one. I'm never going to get one, and nor do I want one anymore.
Just to be clear, I didn't want it either. I didn't expect it, didn't want it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it though, because most would say like, hey, Michelin stars should be reserved for chefs that are running the restaurants. Like there's that, especially if you come out of France, like the Michelin
Totally.
things
Europe,
over
it's a
there
whole different
is a
world.
whole different
Yeah.
world. Now we have an Americanized version of Michelin.
Yeah.
But you got one.
Yeah.
And you know what? You should be proud of that. And I'm sure you are. But it seems like you shy away from it.
I can tell you why.
Why do you shy away from it?
No. I'll tell you why I'm proud. A few days after we got it, very unexpectedly, I flew back to LA, and I was at LAX, and I hadn't seen my husband, and I'm crying. It had been so emotional, and I'm crying in the airport, telling him about what's happening. We go to baggage claim, and one of my first regulars at Compass Rose, an Egyptian guy named Yaz, he's been like just the most loyal customer since 2014. And he's in baggage claim. And I see him, and he just runs up to me and hugs me. And I say, I'm crying. But he's like, Rose, he's like, it's so big, and I do what I'm doing now. I'm like, no. It's really weird for us to get it. Like, we're not chefy like that. I don't know why we have it. And he's like, Rose, no. He's like, you have elevated Middle Eastern food, our food. He's like, so that's why you get to be proud.
Yes.
And then I said, okay.
You know what?
So I'll be proud of it now. But I'm proud of it for the grandmas.
Yeah.
That's
But
why
good
I'm
for
proud of it.
him, and I think, and I'm actually happy that Michelin Guide opened up, and they're not as restrictive on what they deem a Michelin 1, a Michelin 2, and 3, because again, the European Michelin Guide is completely different. But to your point, like, I think like what you've done to taken this cuisine, elevated, and had such a huge impact, why wouldn't you get one, right?
No, that was special.
And so what was the reaction? Like, what was the reaction? Like, did it change your life, the restaurant's life immediately, or were you, did you get more reservation? Like,
it definitely changes. It changes the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I think Compass Rose into Maydān, I've always considered my place as sort of bohemian, and
Sure, 100%.
I wasn't ever going for fine dining. So I'd say our crowd was amazing. I mean, Maydān thankfully was like busy as soon as we opened.
Yeah.
But it was like my Compass people, like a lot of State Department, embassies, USAID, like, international travelers.
Your network,
and the Middle Eastern community came in immediately. But then when the Michelin star came, we were only open a year and a half.
I was about to say,
we're not even 2 years.
For a restaurant that's
crazy.
young to get it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's an enormous amount of pressure on top of,
It became pressure. We didn't have the pressure before, but then we got it. Yeah. Which is the downside of it that everybody talks about, right? Like, once you have it, then it opens you up to all that criticism of like, if people don't like it, you get the review of like, oh, why do they give them the Michelin star? But they didn't have that that
Sure.
ammunition against you before. So you kind of have that side, and that's the bad side. The good side is, of course, you get a whole new crowd because there's those people that just like go follow Michelin restaurant. Like they just go to them because they have stars.
Yeah.
So that crowd came in. Some of them were crossover, but like some people were definitely finding us who were wealthier, who were from out of town, from Europe, who probably wouldn't have found us before, but they're more into, who has stars. And then I think the only part of that was, my wine list, which I'm very proud of the mission behind it. It's very much promoting lesser known wine regions like Georgia and Lebanon, and lesser known wine makers like the women in these countries and the women in this country, because sadly still in wine, women are also not well represented. So I was very proud of that. But I will say when the Michelin crowd came in, it was like, we're not here for this hippy dippy stuff, And I had to really like search my soul about like where the boundary was, because you're still in hospitality, and in hospitality, you want to give people what they want,
Sure.
right? So I think I brought on an amazing wine director who's a dear friend of this day, Drew Hairston, and he helped me really elevate the list while keeping our core. And so I think that was really important for us. Yeah. And remember, right after this, it was COVID too. So
Michelin start to COVID.
Yeah. So we had a couple years where it was just quiet. And then when Drew came on, that's how we started the menu back up. So I'm really proud of it. I think it keeps the character, but it definitely gives them some European wines they're familiar with, and but with a twist. So
do you get the Michelin star every year? Have you had it every year, or
we had it every year until last year?
Okay.
Yeah. So
they didn't give it to you last year?
No.
You know what, Michelin? What is your issue?
You know what? I was sort of like, thanks, guys.
Oh, really? Really?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
here's my thing.
You're packed.
Who needs
it? Like,
here's why I'm
busy.
annoyed. If they give it to you, just let us keep it. Like, you don't have to be a jerk and take it away because somebody made a mistake, because you're going to make a mistake. Like, of course, I think it was Aaron Silverman who explained it to me. It was something like, he only knows this, by the way, because they called him. They won't answer my call because I called to say, could you just tell me why? Like, what did we do wrong? So, by the way, they didn't answer, in case you're wondering. Even though the director of Michelin is quoted multiple times as saying that anytime they take a star away, they call the chef because they understand that it's affected chef's mental health in the past.
Bernard Loiseau killed himself.
Michelin, if you're listening, I somehow didn't get my phone call. And then when I emailed for my phone call, I was told I would not be getting one. So I do have a beef, and I'm happy to talk about it. But I didn't get my phone call. My mental health is fine about it. So
it seems like it really.
They're lucky. But Aaron said that there's like a criteria where if even one dish they try, one bite is not Michelin worthy, they'll take it away. So to me, if you just gave it to us, just let us keep it. Don't go taking it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And then giving it back. What are you going to do? Like, that's just weird.
I don't understand the whole, like in the States, I don't understand the whole take it away and give it, and like the restrictions are a little looser here. Like there's there's ramen restaurants that have a Michelin star. There's it doesn't have to be a fine dining restaurant with full of service and like white tablecloth, white plates.
Where you've never been that.
None of that. And so it's just awkward that they do the switchback.
It's just really awkward because then it like makes people think there's something wrong. I'm like, we literally haven't changed anything. Maybe we had a bad night, because we all have a bad night, right?
Listen, it's the industry.
But is it really fair to do that? I don't think so personally. But
it's
their prerogative.
What's the turnover rate at your restaurants? How's running the business with like employee wise? Like, is it?
Right now we've had an enormous retention.
Yeah.
I have an amazing management.
Why is that though? Because I know there's a lot of restaurants that don't have that retention. Is that because the way you run your business?
I like to think leadership runs down. But I should mention the way I am by Coastal is because I have an amazing team, right?
Yes.
So the team that runs DC is amazing. I have Christina, Walker, Chloe. There's a whole troupe that keeps the place running beautifully, right?
Yeah.
So it's because of them that I can do this. And
is it mostly women at the top?
I have a lot
running?
of women.
Yeah.
I have
very intentional.
One white man got in, Walker. We left him.
Walker.
He knows what he's up against.
Walker,
he's
teach me the ways, Walker. How did you get in?
He's a very strong man. But they help me run everything, and that's how this all works.
Yeah.
Really. So
yeah, of course.
And Christina's hiring. Christina joined right as COVID was starting. Was my general manager, and then my DO coming out of COVID. She really rehired the whole restaurant, and that team a lot of them are still with us, and that is 100% to her credit. She is now our VP of People and Culture because she's so damn good with people.
Good for her.
And that is where I credit the retention. 100%.
So and so here you are, Michelin star restaurant, COVID. Was there any point in time where a closure was on the horizon at any one of the restaurants
Because
during
of
COVID?
COVID?
Yeah, or were you able just to really kind of push through? Because I know you had done outdoor dining, which is still there, by the way. Now I see in the alley, and then you had taken the space across the street,
Medina.
Medina, which
That
is
was just a year and a half ago, but yeah.
that was just a year. Oh well, I thought you were seating people during COVID over
Almost 2
there.
years. Oh, that was my secret other space that actually is the front one,
That's
which is
what it
still
was.
available. No one has rented it. So in the complex, we called it the Annex.
Yes,
and
that's what it was.
The landlord was kind enough to let us borrow it during
Yes.
COVID, but I wasn't really supposed to be in there.
You weren't supposed to be there. Yeah.
So that was not mine. Then when
Good for you, by the way.
the business that was in the space across the alley left during COVID,
Yeah.
and the landlord offered it to us. And at that point, because of the outdoor dining, our kitchen is so tiny. Our walk-ins were so stuffed because we got 30 extra seats that we wanted more kitchen space. So we took what is now Medina, got bigger kitchens. So all prep happens in there now. I don't even know how the hell we used to do it in the other space. Now everything is in the new one, and then we just put about 50 more seats in there as like an event space, a cocktail bar. It's very
Yeah.
loungy, but you can get the Maydān menu in there.
Totally, and it's really cute. I mean, like you're hidden in a little alley with a door.
Yeah.
You know that people could easily walk by it. I had a couple. They do. I had a couple of friends like, I don't know where this place is. I was like, well, if you don't find it, it's
We like to say that's how you start your journey, but it's also just a bunch of BS, because what really happened is the designer, my beloved Martina, raced out of town after finishing the restaurant after we opened, and she just didn't make a sign. So the sign was not intentional. It was that we had to open. The sign was not ready, and then we figured out by like day 5 that everyone loved that we didn't have a sign.
Totally.
And we're like, okay, well, maybe we just won't buy a sign. The only time I regretted that is when Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor yelled at me for it. That was the only time I've regretted it, because
Yeah.
I don't ever want to make her mad. She's doing God's work.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, it's funny because I was neighbors with Saeed.
oh, my first, yeah.
Your first, was he general
He was
manager?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think I learned about Maydān from him, actually.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because we were living in the same schoolhouse together.
Cool. Oh, I remember that place. Yeah, he and I met when he was a bartender at St. X, and I was
course.
24 dancing in the basement. So that's
Tell some of those stories.
Nope, those stories do not make it out into the light of day. But Saeed was a bartender and manager then. So and he's Lebanese.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're the perfect one to open it with me.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, why did you move to the West Coast? Why did you leave us?
It always goes back to this husband that I met waiting
This
tables.
freaking husband, man, taking you to
he just
New
keeps coming into the
York
story.
and Russia.
Damn, falling in
and
love,
now
I'm telling
West
you.
Coast.
It's exactly
You
why the
know,
West Coast, because another dream job. He's just had dream job after dream job. It's really annoying. He, like I was saying, did Morning Edition, which is why we came back to DC. And then Morning Edition is only available, the hosting seat, in one other place, and then it's Los Angeles, so they call it NPR West. And the longtime host, Renee Montaigne, who is amazing, decided to step back around 2017, and they asked David to take that seat.
Nice.
And he came to me, he's like, this is the year Maydān's opening. I'm sure you don't really want me to take this. But when we got back from Russia, I made him promise me that we would live in a warm place one day, because he owed me for the misery of 3 winters in Russia.
Yeah.
And he said he's very loyal and he keeps his promises. So he's like, I promised I would tell you if the opportunity came up. Do you want it? I assume not. And I was like, oh, no, I want it. No, I meant what I said. We were taking the job. So it was him moving us, but me saying yes. And so before Maydān opened, I've been bi-coastal the whole time. So almost 8 years.
Before the first Maydān opened.
Yeah.
You were
the
bi-coastal.
same year
you were
we moved.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a huge. That adds a whole degree of
wild insanity.
wildness. I'm
Yes.
like, how are you pulling this off? It's crazy.
Well, we don't have kids,
Yeah.
so that helps.
Okay.
That was a decision where like we're not bringing
have
kids
restaurants.
into this. Yeah, and if we're gonna live on airplanes, no kid deserves that. So
Yeah.
we skipped kids, so that helps, and we like airplanes.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And so where in LA? I mean, there's a saying that chefs go to die in LA because it's just such a tough business.
It's tough
to be in. Mm-hmm. And so so you've been there for what, almost 8 years, that you say? Or?
Living part-time for 8 years. Yeah.
So what's the
I come back to DC every month. So.
Yeah. So what's the scene like that? Where do you have places that you stay here with family, or just?
I have, we've had an apartment in Venice Beach for a long time. So
Yeah.
that's been our base. And here, I have 2 brothers here.
Yeah.
We have like a corporate apartment.
Okay.
That's also an office for the staff. So we got creative there.
So
but
you're in Venice Beach, one of my dreams.
it's beautiful.
It's nice
Come
over
visit.
there.
Yeah, I can't lie. I do really
Are you in
love
the
it.
canal areas? Where?
Very
are
close.
Very
yeah.
close.
We're like, you know where Scopa is? Do you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why did I think the chef's name really quick? She's on TV all the time. One of the few female chefs that's on. Anyway, I can't think of her name right now, but it's Antonia. Thank
Lufthansa.
you. Gosh, my brain on this morning is not working. Her spot I can walk to in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I live like
Oh,
right
yeah, I
where
know exactly where you
Abbot Kinney
are.
and Washington are.
She's got a great restaurant over there too.
It's been so solid for so long, and
So
I'm so
long.
lucky to live right by it. It's kind of our go-to during the week.
She's such a solid chef and a good friend. She's been
No, Venice is. I
she's been
also
amazing.
another dear friend who moved in a couple years ago was Michael Simon. Actually,
yeah?
is my direct neighbor. Like Venice, the houses are almost touching. We
Yeah.
like are right next to each other, so we have a very.
I thought he was living in back in Ohio. Did he move back to Venice now?
he has a place in Venice and New York.
Oh yeah, he goes back and forth, right?
Yeah, but it's just like
Ohio.
He's from Cleveland.
He's from Cleveland,
Yeah,
right?
so that's what we laughed. He's Greek Italian, Lebanese Italian, both from Ohio.
I
and now
worked
we're
for
neighbors.
him in New York.
Oh, cool.
At his restaurant. That wasn't open too long, and I think it's right before he started doing a bunch of Food Network stuff. But I was his morning butcher there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy. I don't know what he's like to work for, but as a friend,
Oh, he's
wonderful.
great, and like he, he's got a couple guys that worked with me there that have gone on to do amazing stuff. So he's pretty solid.
Yeah, we have a fun neighborhood. We do
Yeah.
garden parties. We do backyard barbecues.
Hanging
like,
out with
it's
Michael
very-
Simon.
Come visit us.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to entice you to
100%.
come.
I would love that. Tell me so why I decide to open up Maydān West.
Because I love the food scene out there.
Yeah.
For someone who loves grandma immigrant cooking, LA is the absolute best. I love New York. It's like every little enclave in Queens, but 10 times bigger in LA, right? Like, so it's like every group that you could think of bringing their food. And so you have like the San Gabriel Valley with like the most amazing Chinese food. You've got Koreatown, like endless Koreatown. Like, so to me, the food scene is a dream. It isn't fancy. They didn't get Michelin back until like last year or something. Because basically Michelin was like, you're not even good enough for us. So totally my town.
Totally. You're like, I belong.
I'm like, this is the capital of grandma cooking in America. I'll take it. Plus, again, back to like the experience-driven piece. These spaces to me are how I build community. It's part of how I fell in love with DC was through restaurants. It wasn't through policy. It wasn't through David's job. It was through the restaurants. And so I was like, well, if I'm really going to live here, and I really love living here, I need to build community. So I have to build a restaurant.
Yeah. And so where's your spot there? So you just opened up.
We are in West Jefferson, in the West Adams neighborhood between Crenshaw and La Brea. So it actually just reminds me of DC, which is why I fell in love with it. It's a big warehouse. I took 10,000 square feet, and that is how I have multiple concepts under one roof.
10,000 square feet.
It's called Maydān Market.
Wow.
So Maydān is in it, Compass Rose is in it, but then I have 4 other businesses that are small business owners in LA, who I'm kind of like their landlord, essentially,
Yeah.
right? But we all cook together.
Did you just graduate to landlord status?
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Do you know what? I'm going to give you a Michelin star for that.
I don't own it. I don't own this building. I'm like they're the subtenants, to be fair. I don't own it. But it's a really cool space. It's a little bit ambitious, I have to admit, but so far so good.
But
in all 8 days.
listen,
that it's
no
been
risk,
open.
no reward, right?
That's what we say.
Yeah. And so what's different about opening up a market versus individual restaurants? And you have open fire, I would imagine, obviously.
Yeah, the fire's like double. You're gonna die when you
Is
see
it double?
It's so big. Yeah.
Oh, really? I'm so excited.
But the
right
point
now.
was to share it.
We need to move to LA.
No, you need to at least come visit us. The idea was sharing a flame, sort of like you create a village.
Yeah.
In the old days, they shared a well, right? My whole thing is we share fire. So one of our chefs on the fire is Pancho. Pancho had Pancho's Tayudas for multiple years, a pop-up on Friday nights only in the front yard of his wife's nonprofit in South Central. Pancho got a beard nom for Best Chef Southern California, doing a pop-up once a week.
Wow.
Now Pancho has his first brick and mortar with us, and he cooks Tayudas on one side of the fire, and then we do Maydān on the other side of the fire. It's very cool.
I love that.
So it's a lot of sharing of resources, and the idea was back to the OG Compass Rose, how hard it was to open, right? It has gotten so much harder to open since COVID in major cities like DC and LA.
Yeah.
I do not want to live in a city that does not have a Compass Rose or Pancho's Tayudas, but this is where the policy person in me and just a good mother who said, like, if you have a problem, try to fix it. Don't just complain about it, right? So I got to be part of the fix. And to me, the market is a space created to lower the barrier to entry for small businesses. So we do like a percentage rent thing, no base rent. We do the hard work. We got the utilities turned on. We did the renovation, so folks can come in and have a real chance of starting up.
And it's the same. Have you continued to work with the same investors in Restaurant Group from day one, or?
No, I needed a lot more investors for this one.
Yeah,
It was a lot bigger. Everything else had been small. And then now we have a number of folks that help support this project, which I'm really grateful for, including the landlord. They're based here in DC, Funrise, actually.
Oh, okay.
They've been really supportive of the project. They're trying to develop the whole street, and we are one of the first ones to really like open, and hopefully we bring a lot more people.
Yeah, so in a world of high closures in restaurants, in LA especially, and DC, to be honest with you, the crazy idea of opening a 10,000 square foot space is just, it feels very different from what most of the industry people are trying to do, like smaller square footage, smaller concepts. And so where, like, do you see a shift happening? Like, is there a shift happening in the scene that you believe? Like, it's just a lot. You said it yourself. It's a big space. It's a big risk.
But part of the project, I should also say, is like sharing resources. So that whole sharing the flame, but we're also sharing utilities, valet, dishwasher, cleaning. So it's actually an effort to combat what is happening to small businesses, where it is getting harder to survive on our own. And 100% that's true. I mean,
it's coming together.
It's coming
Share
together.
fire.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
I think it's the only way we're going to make it, because if we do continue at this rate between taxes and employment stuff alone, let alone the cost of goods and everything, I don't know how we're going to.
It's a kind of a really smart move. I never even
Well, it's a business model experiment.
Yeah,
I'll let you know if it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you've seen others like Italy do things like that on grand scale. Jose did something in New York.
Little Spain, yeah.
Little Spain. I think George also did something recently.
I went to that.
And so, like, they seem to be very trendy. Even here, I think there's like a shared food, like the food halls.
Well, it's like an ancient way. Like Greece has them.
Yeah.
Lebanon has them. Asia. Korea has the night markets, Mexico City. It's a model that's been everywhere. I just felt like the U.S. didn't have enough of it.
Yeah.
So when
Greece, it's just called a platilla,
no,
like a
same
square.
Thing.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Plaka, like
Plaka,
Maydān.
exactly.
It's the same word. No, it's the same word. And everybody's had them for generations except us. I feel like America got it wrong, and they made a food court in a mall, and they're like, yeah, same thing. No, we got it wrong. So I'm trying to bring it back.
Yeah, well, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, what else is keeping you busy? Tell me a little bit more about this wine business.
Oh, my wine business. That was a COVID project, because my husband and I don't normally work together. He just drags me around for his cool job.
So this is a husband and wife
we did
project.
this together with another friend of ours. So there's 3 of us. And it's basically just expanding the mission of our wine program. What I've done in the restaurants, like I said, I'm very proud of. Lesser known regions, lesser known winemakers, but you can only get them, a lot of them, at my restaurants, and not everybody can get to my restaurants. I'm from Ohio. I'm from the middle, right? Like, the people that I want to know more about these places are in the middle, but they can't access my restaurants on a regular basis. So the idea was direct to consumer. So it's all online, and we can ship to any state that will legally allow us to. And so my hope is that the Ohioans and the Nebraskans are going to be ordering Georgian wine that they can't get there otherwise, right? And in drinking the Georgian wine, maybe they learn more about Georgia, which is the whole point.
Yeah. So is there characteristics specifically about Georgian wine, or specific type of grapes that are done there?
Oh,
or
well, they consider themselves the birthplace of winemaking. I
course
agree with
they
them.
do.
The Greeks will argue.
Of course we will.
The Turks will argue. Everybody will argue. But it is 8,000 years old. They can prove it.
Yeah, they can prove it.
Every family in Georgia makes wine. It
Yeah.
is just a part of everyday life. Every single family makes wine. And until,
Is it red or white, or does it matter?
all of it. They have everything. They have
Everything.
500 indigenous grapes. It's actually wild.
Wow.
And the only reason we didn't know about it is because of the Soviets, right? They took over for a really long time, tried to ruin it all. Like, they tried to ruin everything.
Yeah.
And only since Soviet times have they been able to export. And now the world is getting to know that they make this amazing wine. They were making the same as an amphora. They call it qvevri, right? It's like a clay jar that goes in the ground. They've been making amber or orange wine for generations. That's now trendy in natural wine circles. But none of this would have been possible without the Georgians. I am an honorary Georgian. I'm waiting for citizenship. My passport should arrive any day. It's a beautiful place full of hospitality, good food, and amazing wine. And when I lived in Russia, always goes back to Russia. The husband in Russia. I'm telling you, it's my refrain.
Are you a Russian spy?
They would never. They want nothing to do with me. Trust me. When I was living there, Russia was the biggest drinkers. They were the only drinkers of Georgian wine. And then they got in a fight, and Russia invaded a part of Georgia in 2006. And to punish Georgia, Russia being who who they are, embargoed Georgian wine, which was devastating to Georgia because it was the only country that bought their wine at the time. But in a nice pivot twist, since the Russians wouldn't buy it, they started selling to Europe and the United States. And in the process, a lot of Germans went down there, French folks went down and started modernizing it just enough to make it acceptable for export because they were catering to the Russian market, which was very sweet wines and stuff like that, stuff we would never drink. So a lot of people went down there, started doing some education, importers like my Georgian wine house, my favorite humans in the world, went into Georgia and started exporting and finding people like me who were willing to import, smaller winemakers.
Yeah.
And now they're all growing, and watching them grow over the last 10 years has been amazing.
Look at that. So next time you're if you visit your restaurant, make sure you order one of the Georgian wines, right?
Please. Georgian or Lebanese.
That's something we missed. I needed to, I wish I would have looked at the wine list. I'm not a big drinker, so, but I'll have a little wine with a meal.
Next time I'll make sure you get a Georgian amber.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to come to LA, so that's where you see me next.
Too.
I'm coming. So in LA, do you have you also sell, I'm sure you sell full bottles of wine, but do you have other ingredients too there? Like when I think of a market, I'm thinking, I can buy goods as well.
Yeah, I have a small Middle Eastern market.
So
I'm focusing on Middle Eastern makers and white label products that I'm bringing in. So my brand is called Sook, Sook. And yes, we have a little market with like everyday stuff that you need, but also stuff you don't.
Yeah.
Like some really cool jewelry, but everything is from a MENA. So I like to I'm trying to get away from Middle East and say MENA, Middle East, North Africa. So MENA makers that are both residing in Los Angeles, but some stuff we're also getting from abroad. And then the white label stuff is stuff that I use at Maydān. So the steak rub that you like, I'm putting that in a bottle, putting my label on it, and you'll be able to buy it.
And is that your first foray into like CPG,
yes.
I guess?
Yeah, brand new.
Brand new.
Learning as I go.
Yeah, it's a tough business.
I know.
Yeah. but right now you only sell you don't sell it in any any other stores than yours, right?
No. We're just starting. Yeah.
All right. Tell me about your cookbook.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was hard too, but it was fun. Cookbooks are labors of love. I had a cookbook
But it's
chat.
been out for a while, right?
Yeah, since the end of 2023. I did a food talk at Lebanese Taverna last night. Nevin Martel moderated, and a few of us Lebanese authors came together and talked about our books. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Labor of love.
I love them over there too.
Oh,
Lebanese.
they're so good.
Yeah, they're great.
This is the one in Tyson, so big. Beautiful family. I looked up to them since I've started. They invited us for this conversation about Lebanese food, and the book is like half family recipes, half Maydān recipes. All made for the home kitchen, so you don't need the big fire.
And in the forward, I remember, did it talk about, what was it? It talked about Ukraine, right? In the forward a little bit?
Well, that's right, I think I mentioned it where I got the name.
Yeah, where you got the name, right? That's so interesting to me that you got it from there. So what else is going on? So after this Maydān Market in LA, what else?
I'm going to take a nap. I think I'm good for a second.
Where's your husband moving you to next? Where you go?
He's very tied to LA right now, which is good. No, we are going to be reopening. I still have the space that Compass Rose was in.
Yeah.
So I'm reopening it, hopefully later this month.
What?
Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see. I wasn't ready to give up the space.
No, something new.
Something new.
Are you going to tell us?
No.
Break the news here.
Not yet. No,
Come on, give me something.
No.
Come on.
No. It's just a continuation of like a community-based space because it's very neighborhoody. Compass always has been.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready to give up the space. I have a couple more years on my lease, so I was like, we just need a little facelift, a little TLC. So we've been doing some renovations this summer, and hopefully she'll be ready to open by the end of the month.
How long has it been closed for?
Just since June.
Okay.
After 11 solid years, it needed a little break.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's a 150-year-old house as well, so.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I mean, I think I think people could resonate, and especially me. I mean, we come out with these brands that we attach ourselves to. We love them. They make up our whole world. They open up all the opportunities. But at some point, they stop working for whatever reason. Is that what happened with Compass? I mean, I'm not trying to shed light on that.
That's fine.
Yeah. Like for instance, Good Stuff Eatery, our first brand in DC. The Capitol location we might close. Do you know what I mean? Or we might reopen something different there because it's just we feel like the brand has just, it's been time to switch it up. But so what happened with Compass Rose? Why did you decide just to put the brakes on it for a second?
Well, it was 11 years.
Yeah.
I had. Like I told you, I'm very connected to it. Like it's like my most personal project.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was done. I was truly it's just gut.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we've had a good run.
Yeah.
People were still coming in, and the reaction when we closed was like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like how special it had been.
Yeah.
very honestly, not to get too into my woo-woo, but I feel like I've changed a lot since I opened it, and it always has been a reflection of me. And I felt like kind of too much had changed, and we just needed to restart in LA. So when I say it personifies me, I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
and
it really does.
We've evolved, we've grown up, and the person that opened Compass is very different now, and so I felt like Compass needed to be different.
But I think that's the beauty about what you're doing in the industry, is that everything is very much a reflection of you, right? It doesn't seem like you're trying to guess what customers are looking for or what they maybe need. It just seems sometimes you just do what makes you feel good and what you want to elevate. And it seems like people seem to gravitate towards that. And I think I almost think that's like the best place to be as a restaurateur, because I don't know, you can overthink these concepts sometimes, and you can try to guess what the consumer wants, and you build these exotic kitchens, for instance, and I think just the way you're doing it it's very much representative of you. And I think the industry, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for brands and restaurants that have an identity with someone that they can.
Oh, well, everybody's been very kind to me, so I appreciate it. It is deeply personal.
Yeah.
I don't do anything because, I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Definitely
no,
don't.
clearly.
Yeah. But I do think people appreciate authenticity, and I think that's one of my favorite words. There's, growing up in the Midwest, it was very practical. Like, there was no pretension. And I'm very grateful for a solid Midwestern upbringing where it was like, just be authentic, be real. I didn't have like any fakeness. Your car, your house didn't really matter. So that's my core, and I try to stick to it in this industry, which can be very competitive and very trend-based and all of that. But I just kind of like try to stick to myself. And the few times that, I haven't, I feel like it hasn't worked out. So.
What times are those?
All the probing questions. You're telling him to do this. You're a chef, not a reporter. No, I sometimes when I have tried to help someone else with their idea that didn't come from my heart, it didn't work. So I don't have Kirby Club anymore, for example.
Okay.
That's okay. No, you mentioned it. I mean, it's in my heart, but we handed that over to a Lebanese kid, Tariq, amazing. Please go visit him at Naja. So same space, now called Naja. But that was one that, again, with the changes, had to move on to something else.
Yeah.
But the inception of it was, it was trying to help someone else and not from my heart. And the lesson was the only way my stuff works is if I trust my gut and I follow my heart.
What were you trying to do with that restaurant? Were you trying to fast casual?
Yeah, there's more of
scene a little bit more.
There was a growth. My partner at the time had a growth mentality for it.
Yeah.
And as what you just said, it's just I saw the value.
You're one of one, not one of many.
I saw the value. I see why you scale. I do 100%. And I guess in a way, Maydān has scaled for the first time, but very slowly and very carefully and thoughtfully.
Yeah.
The idea of just like repetition, not necessarily is not.
Yeah, you don't seem like a person that wants like 20 Kirby clubs around the country.
I thought I did.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I would rule it out forever, but because at the end of the day, I also want to promote Middle Eastern food wherever I go. Yeah. And that was also part of the interest in it. Was like, okay, well, if we end up in a food court in Ohio, more people will still know about us, through kebabs or something. Yeah. But that was not what it was meant for in the end. So that's okay, learning experience.
I think how do you pronounce the pizza thing again? The
Hachapuri.
Yeah, concept based around that.
I think a few people have tried it. I don't know. We'll
Call
see.
me.
We'll see. You guys do pizza. It's not that far off. So if you
exactly.
Let me know if you want to work on that.
Well, listen, it's been such a pleasure. I know you have a busy schedule, and we got to get you, into an Uber or however you're traveling.
I got to get my suitcase is right here.
You got a suitcase right here.
Straight to the airport.
Oh, are you going straight to the airport back to LA?
I am. Yes.
Well, thank you for stopping by before your trip.
You guys were so kind about like my dates, trying to figure this out, and I just had to get back for a Friday night service that I'm nervous about.
I wish I was in that suitcase heading over there.
No, you don't want to be in this Friday night service. It's crazy.
Tell everybody where they can find you, websites, social handles.
Yeah.
Do you do social? You probably don't do social. Do you do social?
No, do you not follow me, Spike? Is that what you're
I think I
trying
follow
to say?
you.
You better follow me.
100% follow you.
I'm heavy on the Instagram.
I follow you because we're going to do collab posts for this
Great. No,
podcast.
I hate it. It was way easier at the beginning. I used to do them for the restaurants. Now I have a lot of help.
Yes.
So yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm most active there. I think I'm on TikTok, but I don't know. I don't pay much attention to that.
Okay.
on Facebook for the family. Got the websites. If you email any of the restaurants, they'll forward to me. You can always find me somewhere, either DM or restaurant email, and they'll forward to me.
Beautiful. Well, listen, I was, I've been wanting to get you on this podcast for a long time.
We did it.
We did it. You're one of my, favorite restaurateur chefs.
You.
I absolutely love what you've done in the industry.
Well, mad respect back to you. So there's a huge compliment coming from you. Thank you.
Please, I'm a podcaster now. I don't run
I
restaurants.
see that now. You're good at it.
I'm trying to follow the trends. I'm like, podcast is the thing right now. Let's talk about food instead of create it. But listen, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here. I wish you the best of luck with everything else. We're going to come see you in LA 100%.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's do it again soon.
Yeah.
But over wine next time. I should bring wine. Oh, no.
Yeah.
These
I didn't get a cookbook. I didn't get any wine.
No, dude, I
didn't
ran
get any
out.
Spice.
It's all coming in a nice care package via mail order.
Do you get you mentioned olive oil, and then I know you got to go, but my mother, she had 4 custom boxes built specifically to ship her olive oil from our village here.
So smart.
So I just got my case in the garage, but I will always take more olive oil. But is that what
Lebanese.
you got to do?
Yeah.
Lebanese. I love it.
With the Lebanese winemaker friend, Eddie from Marcel Wines. I sell his wines at all the restaurants. You should absolutely try them. But his family's sort of from where my grandfather's side is from, and there's a ton of olives. So I really want to, the Lebanese entrepreneur in me was like, I really want to take out the middleman. I want my own olive oil. I buy so much olive oil. I'm like, this is silly. I'm paying someone else. So we made a small batch, and it's all labeled, and you can buy it in Maydān or online. We have like a little sales link right now. That will be bigger very soon. Before the holidays, we're going to launch souk.com, which will have the olive oil, but some other products. And Go There Wines is up and running right now. If you are looking for some Georgian wine, you can get it delivered to your doorstep.
Perfect. Just in time for holiday gifting.
There you go.
Was it souk.com?
Yes.
How do you spell it?
The Souk, SOOK.
SOOK. Guys, look forward to that. I don't think I have a natural today, right? We're good. That's it.
Thank you. This is very fun.
A huge thank you to our title sponsor, Events DC, the official convention and sports authority for the district and a key player in making some of DC's most exciting events and experiences happen. From world-class sports to cultural festivals and everything in between, they help power the energy of the city. Check out eventsdc.com to see what they're cooking up. A shout out to our broadcast home, DC Central Kitchen, for not just feeding people, but fueling real change. If you want to support their mission or get involved, head to dccentralkitchen.org. You can catch up on past episodes or subscribe for new ones at intheweedspod.com or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. The kitchen may be closed for now, but the conversation is still sizzling on our Instagram at intheweeds.pod. So come and join us there. That is a wrap on this shift. See you back in the weeds next time.